You are now watching the Lone Blown. Blown! If you're looking for one of the best places to buy codes online, look no further than atlaspokemart.com. You can use the code TheLoneBlown12 to save 12% off all of your instantly emailed codes. They got a lot of great codes on this website, such as Darkness Ablaze, Rebel Clash, so if you're looking for anything to complete any of your collections, head over here, and the codes are great priced as well. Thanks! Yo, what's poppin' YouTube? You're back here at the Lone Blown. Thanks so much for stopping by. Today we're going to be going over Eternatus VMAX. So I did cover this deck on the channel last week, but I played in an event with this deck. I played this deck, this exact list, at the annual JGB Invitational Championships this past weekend, and there's lots of amazing players in that tournament, such as Stefan Ivanov, Pedro Torres, Isaiah Bradner, Joe Bernard, and plenty of other great players, so a fairly prestigious event. I was actually able to go 4-1-1, and I placed an unfortunate 9th with this deck, but that's okay. In the process, I only lost to a mirror match, and I did intentionally draw as well. So maybe the intentional draw was my personal fault, but there was prizing for top 16, so I ultimately had a great Sunday. The way that this deck works is you use Eternal Zone, and it allows you to bench a bunch of Pokemon as long as they're Dark type. You get an extra 3 bench slots, and you do damage for each of your bench Pokemon. So that means this deck is going to be filled to the brim with different tech Pokemon. I use this Pokemon as an extra draw support, kind of like Zacian V using Intrepid Sword. I could use Free Retreat through Dark City, or maybe Hiding Dark Energy, or even Switch to get into a Collect. I can also get into a Rapid Fire Poison, which allows us to place damage counters on Eternatus VMAX in the mirror match, or on an ADP, so we can get the one-shot with Dread End. We got 4 Crobats. I mean, this is what makes this deck the most expensive deck on PTCGO. If you don't already own all the cards for this deck, feel free to go to atlaspokemart.com and plug in the code TheLoneBlown12. They already have some of the cheapest codes available overall anywhere on the internet, but they're a group of great peeps. Totally check them out. I fully support them, and they've been supporting our community over the past little bit by helping out with the Atlas Pog and the JGB, and they got their own tournament circuit running or something. Check out the details. While you're at it, be sure to check out the description for a copy and pastable version of this deck, some of my social links if you want to follow me on social media, and some additional discounts from my other sponsors. So we got the Crobat V. We really play this to use dark assets and just to play Pokemon down from our hand. Got Eternatus V. This is a great Pokemon. You can use Power Accelerator, decent bit of HP. We vibin. Already went over Eternatus VMAX. Zigzagoon allows us to place extra damage, so we can get knockouts with Dread End, whether it's an ADP or a VMAX Pokemon. Hoopa is a great single prize card attacker. Gives you an out versus Decidueye and other decks like that. It also allows you to kind of one-hit with Hoopa and then attack with Eternatus VMAX afterwards. This Sableye V is a card that I'm not necessarily certain of, but I basically played it for Lucario Melmetal, because they play a lot of Zamazenta and can honestly stop me out of a game. I can use Crazy Claws against them after doing some damage counters with Zigzagoon. Watch out for their Metal Goggles? Yeah, Metal Goggles, because that will stop them from placing damage counters on. Honestly, with Lucario Melmetal not really being played in our online meta right now, that might change after it was discovered that the deck absolutely crushed the Players' Cup this past weekend. We might want to have the Sableye V in the deck, but for right now, we'll chill on it. It is a cuttable card in my opinion. I might cut it for a Dangerous Drill, something like that. That seems okay. 4 Great Ball, just so we could search out Pokemon. We got 20 of them, 2 Pokemon Communication, making it consistent. A lot of these cards are just consistency cards. I like Reset Stamp just to really hurt our opponent. We just take big knockouts, and if our opponent takes a knockout, we can hurt them back with Reset Stamp. Scoop Up Net is for mobility and getting back Zigzagoons. Couple Switch, and not a lot of these decks play Switch. This is great to get out of Muck and Alolan Muck GX, so that your opponent can't do a crazy Mewtwo play where they go Muck and Alolan Muck. If you don't play Switch, you don't have a way to get out of paralysis. Dark Cities, just for mobility reasons, you always want to go into an Alolan Grimer or a Galarian Slowbro. I wouldn't mind seeing a 4th Boss Orders in this deck. I think that's hot. Piers is either filthy broken busted or it's a terrible card. There's no in between. I like it for now. It saved my butt, but it's also one of those cards where it sometimes feels bad. The energy lineup's a little bit different for this deck with the capture energies and hiding dark energies, but it's generally working because you can search it out with Piers. So whether you need retreats or if you need capture energy to grab an extra Pokemon, or if you just need a basic dark because your opponent's holding a dangerous drill, Piers is the home slice there. So Eternatus VMAX, one of the most powerful, expensive, busted, filthy, broken decks I didn't mention yet, but it's one of the easiest decks to play. It's hard to master, but you could very much play this deck to much success by using Dread End over and over again. Got a decent bit of options when it comes to it, and this deck has been tearing up online competitions. So feel free to give it a try, and let's jump into a couple games with it, because PTCGO now has our new standard format on it. Okay, so we're going to call Tails, and we lost the coin flip. Oh no! That's actually okay. I think we want to go first with this deck. Oh, and our opponent actually is letting us go first. This is kind of a busted hand. Okay, so we're going to start with Eternatus because we don't want to start with the Bat. Bat's almost a start. It's like dark type to Dene for the most part. Okay, so we're going to vibe out with this. Our opponent started Zacian. Ballin. So let's go capture energy here. We just want to get another Pokemon out in case our opponent can just like knock us out. Very possible with this deck. If we were going second, we'd probably want to go into like an Alolan Grimer if we didn't prize it. Galarian Slowbro is also a possibility. Should I think that's so risky. I'm just going to go for that. And since we have Dark City with the free retreat, I am just going to play this switch. I don't necessarily want to. Just so we could draw more cards in case our opponent plays like a chaotic Swell or something. So overall, I think we got some options. I'm just going to leave this. I'm going to let this one. Yeah, I'm going to let this one chill in the active spot. I think. Yes. We're going to vibe out. We have an energy for next turn. We get out Eternatus VMAX next turn. Unfortunately, we're seeing a bit of a supporter drought, but that's fine. We don't necessarily need too much. Okay, so we're playing against Lucario Melmetal. We do need Sableye V in this matchup, most likely. Oh, apparently we're not. We're playing against ADP with hammers. It's an unpredictable world in our post-rotation meta, as most players adapt to the new coming decks like Eternatus. They play the old favorites such as ADP, and we relive back other decks as well. So let's see exactly what our opponent's able to do here. Hopefully they don't play too many more Crushing Hammers. This deck can actually get really hurt with Crushing Hammer. As we can see, the Chaotic Spell hurt us there as well. Makes it difficult. It sucks that we play the Dark City, but if we play the Dark City on top, it necessarily wouldn't have mattered. The switch kind of hurts the most. But that's okay. I have a plan to go Power Accelerator this turn if we're not able to get a knockout. Because it doesn't look like our opponent's going to go for the full Altered Creation. So we should be okay. So before I do anything, I'm going to go Great Ball, see if I can naturally just get a card that I want. Perfect. There's an Eternatus VMAX. Now I could just go for this Great Ball. There's another Altered. I'm just going to go for the Hoopa. So we can start getting stuff off of our bench. I'm going to go ahead and Pokemon Communication away the Zigzagoon, which we don't need at this time because I am going for Power Accelerator. I am going to go for the Crobat V. So, unfortunately, we're not going for the attack. But we're still vibing here. We're going to attach there. We'll see if we would have got it anyways. Yeah, see, we wouldn't have been able to switch out of the active spots. So we're just more or less chilling. So all we have to do here, I don't see any reason not to go Zigzagoon. In case our opponent plays Big Charm. Not sure if they do or not. Piers sounds amazing. We're going to attach our energy. So let's go ahead and We're just going to grab a Crobat. Nothing fancy. You don't need to go too crazy with the Piers. Piers is either a busted card or it's very passive, but we already used Dark as asset. So we're going to go for Power Accelerator, doing 30 damage there, and we're going to attach the Dark Energy to our benched Eternatus. So you can see that we're fully powered up for the game. And our goal now is to win the game in the next 3 turns. See, perfect math. Our opponent does play the big charm. I wish I could say that I scripted this, but it's one of those things where we're okay. Now, they still need to use Altered Creation, and the water energy can sometimes be elusive. The biggest worry for me is if our opponent's able to take the energy away from the active spots, because that's what would hurt the most. I think they're just vibing here for a second. Good time just to have some water, stay hydrated, peeps, and just vibe out. Okay. Now, this might not be the worst for us because now we just need to find a Hiding Dark, which means we need to find a Pierce. So it looks like they got into a bit of a rough spot. That's fine. Let's see exactly what we could do. Now, with our opponent having a hand larger, I don't see any reason not to Reset Stamp. Even though their hand was likely dead before, it doesn't matter because they could have drawn whatever they wanted off of that Intrepid Sword. I am going to evolve to the bench. I'm not attaching the energy in case we need Hiding Dark, because we just need a way out of the active spot in order to win the game. So far, no dice. Let's quick ball away this Eternatus VMAX. You only need 2 per game. I'm just going to discard something else from our deck just to see what we have. We do have Switch. We do have Hiding Dark. And I don't necessarily need to worry about attaching energy. In case our opponent does play an answer, I am going to take care of this. And then Zigzagoon, this has 310. 310 minus 40 is 270. So with that, we'll have enough. Let's bench a Zigzagoon. Even though the ping's likely not going to matter on the Zacian, it does bring it to 210. So you want to count in divisions of 30. So with 7 Pokemon in play total, this can do 210. In case they were to somehow take care of something. So with us not getting the Piers, we're going to hope with the Professor's research. And we did get the Switch, which perfectly means that we're getting a knockout here. Nothing else that we could do, but that's fine. We're getting the Dread End knockout before they got the Altered Creation GX off. It's going to be impossible for our opponent to win the game at this point. Unless, of course, they play something like Zamazenta V and they don't bench any other Pokemon. And if that's the case, we can attack with Crobat V. We have plenty of things that we could attack with. I wouldn't be surprised if we saw a concession from our opponents. Zamazenta V. You know you love to see it, right? We'll see if our opponent decides to do anything else with it. If they'll be able to find an energy, manually powered up, use metal saucers. They've already used 2 metal saucers. So we're probably okay here. We can always attack with our Hoopa. We can attack with Crobat V. And our opponent putting down the Crobat V, unfortunately, means that they can't win the game. Because now we can knock out their Zacian V, and we can knock out their Crobat V. We haven't played a single boss's orders. Some of these lists are running 4 as well. It's something that I want to definitely move towards. I don't necessarily like the Sableye V in the deck. So, while it was going to be tricky to get around Zamazenta V, especially with our board states, I don't necessarily think our opponent thought that through. There's no point of attaching an energy to Zacian if it can't ever attack for the rest of the game. So that's not to be demeaning to our opponent or anything. I'm sure that they think the Zamazenta is going to stop them, but it's really hard to forget about boss orders in this format. The best of us, it happens to the best of us. Oh, maybe they're just trying to draw cards then. That's understandable. Birdkeeper is like, it's an important card, but it's still a lesser seen card nowadays, now that Vikavolt doesn't exist. Really, like, Vikavolt does exist in some capacity, but not to a point where it was again. Okay, we're back into the Zamazenta, and now we're into the Intrepid Sword. Got it. So here's exactly what we're going to do. We're going to go ahead and Piers. Or no, we're not going to go ahead and Piers. Geez, Zach, what are you thinking? I'm so bad sometimes. We're going to go Boss's Orders. We're going to bring this up. We're going to go Reset Stamp because our opponent has more than 6 cards. And we're going to go ahead and, yeah, our opponent realized we'll take that. Okay, sorry, I'm just totally concentrating. Starting with the Hoopa. Our opponent's going first, that's fine. Just gotta vibe out here for a second. Sometimes I just completely zone out when I'm trying to plan out my plays with an opening hand. Here the Piers is actually kind of busted, because we could search out an Eternatus, we could search out an Energy, preferably a Call Energy, as long as our opponent doesn't have anything crazy against it. Now this looks like we're probably playing against Welder Mewtwo, but I wouldn't be surprised if we were playing against Centiskorch. This matchup can be kind of weird if they play Muck Muck. Oh, I can't tell if this is Welder Mewtwo or if it's, why did they attach to Energy first? They grabbed Welder, I think, right? Really? Oh, because they went first, obviously. That makes so much more sense. Let's go Piers here. And we're going to go ahead and Piers for our Eternatus. And since they're playing Mewtwo or Firebox or Centiskorch, I don't necessarily need to worry too much about what our opponents got going on. We don't need to worry about them discarding our special energies or anything like that. Let's go ahead and go Capture Energy. Capture Energy is going to just grab out another Eternatus. These are what we need. We're going to go ahead and Pokemon Communication. So I like to grab my support Pokemon. So if I find a way out of the active spot, I'm going to be chilling with the Home Slice Grimer. Don't need to worry about their hand. Their hand doesn't seem incredibly hot. Maybe it is. Maybe they're going to be like, well, their attack. Let's just go Crobats and see what this brings us. So no way to the active spot, but next turn we could go Evolve an Eternatus VMAX, Galarian Slowbro V, Zigzagoon, attach an energy, play Piers for a Crobat, and then draw. So I think we're in a pretty good spot. We're just going to go ahead and pass our turn, wait on our opponent. So even though our turn's not as hot as we wanted it to be, we're just vibing out. So as I said, sometimes you just gotta chill, see what your opponent's doing, have a sip of water. Aquafina, Fiji, Dasani, if you see me out there, Nestle Pure Life, plug it up, hit me up in my DMs. That's a joke, by the way. So we'll see what our opponent's doing. I still can't tell if they're playing Firebox, because sometimes the Mewtwo Mewless play Heatran GX now. Torkoil. Okay, so looks like our opponent's just playing a fire deck. They gonna bop me, I think, for 130. Honestly, that solves us getting out of the active spot. Sometimes it's better not to attack, or sometimes your deck just isn't comparable to your opponent's deck, and I think that might be the case here. I'm not sure if the Torkoil is a new tech or not. I'm not sure yet. So let's go ahead and attach our energy here. We can evolve here. So in order for us to get the knockout, we need to have a decent bit of Pokemon. We need to have 6 Pokemon total. So actually with the Zigzagoon doing a ping here, we actually save ourselves. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, that's 150, 180. We actually don't need it because we're going to play down another Pokemon this turn no matter what. So let's ping onto the Jirachi because that's the better play since we're knocking out the Heatran. Let's go ahead, bop this. Just in case we want to play another supporter, I'm going to grab a Crobat. And I'm going to Giant Hurt the way that appears to draw more cards. still, we're struggling to find some extra, I should say, energy or supporters or anything like that. We still can do Crobat again next turn, so no need to worry. We're going to Dread End, bop this Heatran. So this is either the moment where we find out that our opponent's deck cannot match our strength by having anything in response, which most decks do not have a response to Dread End. It's arguably the most powerful attack in the game. And let's see exactly how it works here. Their hand is quite large, so I'm honestly not sure what to expect. Like, our opponent looks like they have a capable deck. What card was that? Is this Baby Blacephalon? Just with, like, random techs? Like a New Age Firebox? If they have 7 energies, we're absolutely getting bopped here, peeps. I don't think they can get access to 7 energies. I certainly hope not. This is about to be wild. That's 5 energies. I did not think that this was a Baby Blacephalon deck at all. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That would leave them with 1 card in their hands. Okay, cool. So yeah, Baby Blacephalon's still out there. We see you, we see you. Okay, let's go ahead here and send up the Slowbro. We're going to go ahead and rapid fire poison, even though that probably doesn't matter. Let's go ahead and switch into this. See what we can grab here. Nope. That's fine. Okay, so let's go ahead and do this. And we're just going to go ahead here and collect. So I'm trying to get our opponent into a reset stamp motive where we could just like run over with Eternatus VMAX. That's currently my plan. We already took care of their giant hearth. They've already gone through a couple welders. It's very possible that their hand is just not as good as what it was. Oh, they're just going ahead to retreat. Gotta watch out for this deck. Energy retrieval. Yeah, I would have never expected that with the Torkoal that it was a Baby Blacephalon deck. I don't know why Kindle's played. It's better to knock out your opponent's Pokemon. But maybe I guess it's just for Fire Fling to get fire energies back, like a very primitive, earthy Baby Blacephalon deck. Let's we'll see how it goes. I mean, with a single press, maybe I understand the Torkoal a little bit more. Heatran's a little bit different. See what happens here. It's going to be difficult for our opponent to get 7 again, I think. I really wasn't expecting 7 the first time. I wasn't expecting it to be a Baby Blacephalon deck, to be honest. That's fine, adding a 2 prize card Pokemon down. That means we have 3 turns left in this game. They did just get rid of another welder. It's very possible they might not have access to everything. There's another energy discarded. How many energies do they play? 10. Maybe they're playing something similar to Jose's list? Oh no, why would they attack with the Baby Blacephalon? Okay, There's no big Blacephalon now for them to draw their last prize card. So that's a fact. That's a big fact. Let's go ahead here. And how many Scoop Up Nets have we used? We're not going to get enough to knock out the Jirachi. Okay, let's send up here. We're going to have our energy. We're going to get the knockouts. Let's just double check with this. We do have Reset Stamp left in the deck. Might as well hit while we can. We could Reset Stamp our opponent to 1 in Prey. And that's actually if we were able to get Reset Stamp, which we were not able to go. So we're going to get the knockout, and we basically need to hope our opponent's not able to get Welder and knock out our Pokemon. Now, that's the first baby Blacephalon we've knocked out, but their hand's pretty low. Maybe they're vibing. Can we take out their other baby Blacephalon? They got the Giant Hearth naturally. Let's see if they can get another 7 energies. Probably going to get back Eldegoss. Yeah, that definitely seems fair. This is a nail biter of a game. Probably just going to grab the Dedenne GX. Oh, there's Eldegoss. So, do that, get back Welder. Okay. This is where things get really bad. Our opponent just seems to have the perfect combinations. I mean, Eternatus VMAX is great against non-single prize card decks. I'll put it like that. Now, if our opponent's not able to get the knockout this turn, we might just be able to win the game still. They still need to get out of the active spots, and they probably only have 4 things left to do it. Need a decent bit of energies as well. There's another Fire Crystal. It's very possible they just have it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. It's actually impossible for them to have it at this point. Because they can't get out of the active spot, and they only have 7 cards in their hand. They need 7 energies to knock out Eternatus VMAX. They've already played a supporter. I have no GX Pokemon on my bench, even if they played Great Catcher. So yeah, we need to knock out their Blacephalon at this point. And hope. I'm just going to leave the Hiding Dark in case they bring up anything as a last-ditch effort. We're going to go Dread in there. Just taking away the immediate threat of them knocking something out. I just can't bring up a Dedenne GX and get smoked next turn. Four, 5, 6, 7, 8. There's a Blacephalon. The question is, do they have another Welder? Yeah, this might be where it becomes all over. They're going to draw through the majority of their deck. There's their energy. So they have 6 cards in their hand. 9. So it is possible that they have 7 fire energies. They do have 12 in their discard pile. So if they go Scoop Up Net and they don't have the knockout. Yeah, the Fire Crystal does not seem very convincing here that I'm going to win. I mean, it's one of those things where I guess we'll see how much damage they're doing. We're going to give them the well played. What? We're going to reset stamp them. This is crazy. This is crazy. Wow. I can't believe we took that. So there we have it, peeps. We showed how Eternatus VMAX can absolutely destroy some of the top decks such as ADP Zacian, and even when things were looking grim against the single prize card Baby Blacephalon, our deck was able to come out on top after a surprise 350 damage knockouts. I mean, I even gave our opponent the well played because I thought they had it in their hand, but they were one energy short. This deck is one of the absolute best decks, and this is a very great list for it. The only thing that I'm thinking about cutting at this moment is Sableye V, and that's just for another boss's orders. Another card I'd like to add in would be a Dangerous Drill, but I'll leave that up to y'all, however it works out in your testing. Let me know in the comments below what you think about this deck, and we'll stay tuned for more great content right here at the channel. Thanks so much and have yourself a great one. Use code TheLoneBlown to save when you're registering for Hyperlux events. It will save you on your registration, and there's some large prizes. Be sure to check it out. Really hope that you enjoyed watching that video. I totally enjoyed making it. If you enjoyed it, be sure to like the video, share the video with everyone that you know, and subscribe to the channel as well. Totally appreciate all the support. We got a lot of cool things happening on the channel, so stay tuned for more. Be sure to check out the social links in the description. Thanks and have yourself a great one.